Hey guys, it's Lauren. Today I'm going to be doing another Jesus Calling for Kids video. If you're new to the channel, welcome. What I do is I read the Jesus Calling devotional by Sarah Young, adopted by Thomas Fortner. I read that for the day, then I take it, summarize it, kind of put it into my own words, and then put it down in the description box for you guys to read. And I also read the verses associated with the verse, or sorry, I cannot speak today, the devotional for the day. So I'm going to be using the New International Reader's Version Bible and also the New Living Translation. If you don't have the physical copies of the Bible, you can look it up on like Bible Gateway or the YouVersion app or similar sort of system, I guess. So I believe today's got my little note card here. I believe today's title is Don't Pretend. It's easy to clean up your outside and make your friends think you have it all together on the inside. But Jesus sees straight through you, and he sees your struggles, and he loves you. Talk to him about your struggles, about those times you don't feel like enough. He will take those pains and make them strengths. You don't need to put on a show with him. Be yourself. There is nothing you can do to make him love you any more or any less. So, this one hit pretty hard for me, I guess, just because I feel like what a lot of us do is we are struggling with stuff in our minds, and people either kind of put us down for it. They don't believe us when we say, oh, I have these, like, I'm really struggling or something like that. Or you just feel like you'll burden people or push them away through sort of telling them about the struggles that you have. It's a rip, because you feel like you have to make yourself be happy all the time, or put on this face that says, oh, everything's fine with me, I've got everything under control, which isn't the truth. And we really need to face that, because a lot of us are really sad and stuff on the inside, and you try to put on this facade, I guess, of oh, I got good grades, or you hide behind that, or I'm on the varsity team, or whatever. You just feel like you're all alone in your mind and in your thoughts and stuff. But Jesus sees straight through you. You're not gonna fool him with that. Oh, Jesus, I just had such a good day today. Wrong. If you did not have a good day, he will know that. And he has been walking through that day with you, and he knows and has experienced everything that you're going through at the same time. And that's something that's so comforting to me. And I wish more people would understand that, you know what, Jesus sees straight through you, and he sees those struggles, but he still loves you. Especially if you have problems with guilt. You have problems with guilt, and you put yourself down all the time, because if you don't get any more than a certain point, you're a failure, and just different stuff. And obviously we have different sort of manifestations of that, but that's my personal thing, that like you put yourself down if you feel like you're not doing well enough, you're not changing, you're not making yourself better, and you feel like you're stuck in one place. But he'll take those pains and make them strength, and you don't need to put on a show for him. And you know what? Something just hit me, like right now. The fact that sometimes we feel afraid to tell other people about the stuff we're struggling with because we're afraid it'll burden them. Number one, that's probably not true. I think it's really important to have someone to talk to, whether it be your best friend or like your parents, or if you have a counselor or a therapist, it's important to share those things with them. What was I going to say? Oh yeah. The thing about Jesus is that you're never going to burden him with anything. You can literally spend 24 hours with him, which is not possible. But if you were to spend literally 24 hours with him, just pouring out your heart to him, he will listen to you every single second. He won't be like, ooh, why is she talking to me? Why is he talking to me? Just leave me alone. He'll be there 100% of the time for you, and he knows about your struggles. So you can't hide them. You can't hide them from him. So just tell him about them and pour out your heart. You can use a journal. I come home and I write in this thing every single day. This thing is chock full of a whole bunch of stuff. And it's all pouring your heart out to Jesus. Just do it. Just believe me when I tell you. You can either say it in your head, you can kneel at your bed and you can pray and just cry, and you can write out your heart. It's important that you do that because you can't keep it all sort of locked up in there. That was kind of a long ramble about that, but I could literally talk for hours on end about this topic just because it's a topic that's been sort of prevalent in my own life. But the first verse I'm going to discuss with you is 1 Samuel 16:7. And so I'm going to give you a little bit of context about this after I read the verse. But the Lord said to Samuel, "Don't judge by his appearance or height, for I have rejected him. The Lord doesn't see things the way you see them. People judge by outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart." So, when you kind of learn the context of the story or the verse, it makes the topic of the devotional that much more powerful, I guess. Basically what happened is there was this king named Saul, a king of Israel. Israel is the present day, it's a present day country, but before it was like a nation, which it still technically is, but it existed in Bible times. So there's this king named Saul, and he was going with God for a period of time before he just kind of went crazy and went off in a whole nother direction. So Saul was kind of crazy, and so God was like, ooh, okay. So he basically told Samuel, this prophet of God's, hey, I need you to go to Bethlehem, to the house of this dude named Jesse, and I need you to look at his sons, and I'll tell you which one to anoint as king. So Samuel went to this house, and he's like, hey, let me see your sons. So Jesse was like, lit, all right. So he brought all of his sons out except one. And Samuel was looking through all these sons or whatever, and he sees this one son. I believe his name was Eliab or something like that. He was like, hey, this dude's tall and handsome. He's definitely king material. And God was like, you're looking at his outside, but I'm looking at his inside, and this dude's definitely not king material. Move on. I look at the heart. You're looking at his face. Kind of move on, And so Samuel goes through all these sons, and none of them are the one. So he looks at Jesse. He's like, you got any more sons? And Jesse was like, yeah, I got one, and he's in the fields. Let me go get him real fast. So David was the last son. And as you can imagine, he's just this sheep herder, shepherd dude. And he's in the fields and stuff, tending the sheep. And as you can imagine, he's probably kind of scrawny, like a teenage little boy, And so they end up getting David, and God's like, that's the one, And so Samuel anoints him as king. And it obviously takes a long time for David, to become king, just because of issues with Saul and stuff. But it's really important to know, if you feel like you're flawed on the outside or even flawed on the inside, it says, people judge by outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. You might feel like you're too skinny, or you might feel uncomfortable in your own body or in your face and stuff like that. But God doesn't look at that. People might look at that, but God does not look at that. He looks on the inside of you. It's super important to remember. I got 2 more verses. Romans 8:38 through 39. Oh, sorry, my bad. That'll be in the New International Reader's Version. Verse 38. I am absolutely sure that not even death or life can separate us from God's love. Not even angels or demons, the present or the future, or any powers can do that. Not even the highest places or the lowest, or anything in all creation can do that. Nothing at all can ever separate us from God's love because of what Jesus Christ our Lord has done. Make sure you write this stuff down. Keep it in a notepad or a note card in your backpack. You feel discouraged or like weighed down by your work, you just take it out of your backpack, and like read it and be like, you know what? Lick. Thanks for talking to me, God, Talk with him throughout the day. You don't need to say anything out loud. You can just say things in your head. Oh, please help me get through this day, or whatever kinds of prayers you got in there. God will hear you. So make sure you stay in constant contact with God throughout the day. Super important to your walk with him. Hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time. Bye.